come to order. Please rise for the pledge. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Welcome to the Village Board meeting of July 8th, 2024. Roll call, please.
Stacy,
Yes.
Terry,
Yes.
Kraus,
Here.
Gardner,
Here.
Weisbach,
Here.
Giannetti.
Okay. In your packet, you have minutes from the last meeting of June 24th. Does anyone have any changes or additions? If not, can we have a motion to approve?
So moved.
There's a motion on the floor. Is there a second?
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Roll call.
Stacy,
Yes.
Terry,
Yes.
Kraus.
Yes.
Gardner,
Yes.
Weisbach.
Yes.
Okay. Does anyone in the audience wish to address the board? Village clerk?
Total tax income received in the month of June, $892,302.34. And I want to let the elected officials know that I've been notified the circulation and filing dates for the 2025 consolidated election are being moved up by a month, which will affect the municipal election for village president and trustees. The first day to circulate election petitions will begin on August 20th, and the filing dates will be November 12th through the 18th. This was just approved by the House, Senate, and signed by the governor last week. So now the Illinois State Board of Elections have to update their candidates guide and local election officials guide, which they can be quite slow in doing, so hopefully they'll have it by the circulation period. That's it.
I imagine it doesn't look like the election date's changing, just the
Yeah, it's just those filing days.
filing dates. Interesting. Alrighty. Under my report, I unfortunately have sad news. There's a young man I have recently appointed to our Plan and Zoning Commission. His name is Edwin Prom. As a result of a work-related accident, he has passed away. The services are going to be held July 13th at Hack Funeral Home from 9 a.m. till noon if anyone would like to attend. It's very sad that this has happened. Alrighty, Village Commissions, 4th of July Commission, Trustee Kraus.
Thank you. As everyone knows, the 4th of July Festival just ended Saturday. And as always, thank you to everybody who volunteered, especially the 4th of July Commission. If you've ever been down there to 4th of July, there's a ton of work that goes into planning it, starting it, getting going, staying there for 4 days straight, pretty much, and then taking everything down the next day, 7 in the morning. So thank you for all the volunteers. I don't have numbers as it just ended 40 hours ago, but they did exceed their budgeted revenues for this festival, and then they came close to almost doubling the revenue in the car sales. So it should be another good year for them. And then our next meeting is the first week of September. Let me see if it's a different date. Nope, I don't have the date. Sometime the first week of September.
I know Kenny had talked about maybe moving that back into August, but at this point, it's still
Yeah, I
September.
think they were talking about the first Wednesday, but they didn't set a date then.
Yeah, I think.
Okay,
All right, that it.
yeah, that's all I have.
Youth Commission, Trustee Weisbach.
There hasn't been a meeting since the last board meeting. The next meeting is scheduled for the 16th this month, so there's nothing to report.
Okay. Historic Preservation Commission, Trustee Gardner.
Thank you. The Historic Preservation Committee hosted the Day on the Dixie Car Cruise on June 22nd. 103 cars and even more people stopped by the depot and enjoyed a hot dog lunch provided by the Beecher Lions Club and the Commission. A good time was had by all as we had great, albeit very hot weather. I'd like to thank the AZRS Car Club, the Beecher Lions Club, and all of our volunteers in the Historic Preservation Committee for making the day a success. Jenna, is there anybody else in there that I'm leaving out?
Not that pops into my mind, no.
Our next meeting will be on July 17th at 6 p.m. at the depot. Who's my report?
Okay. Finance and Administration Committee, Trustee Kraus.
Variance reports are enclosed for review, and I'd like to make a motion approving the list of bills and payroll. Bills in the amount of $10,453.25, and then it's just the credit card bills for this one.
Okay. motion on the floor, is there a second?
Second.
There's a motion and a second, discussion, roll call?
Weisbaum,
Yes.
Gardner,
Yes.
Kraus,
Yes.
Terry,
Yes.
Stacy.
Yes. And that concludes that report.
Alrighty. Public Buildings and Properties, Parks and Recreation Committee, trustee Kraus.
So an update on the public safety facility, the foundation walls are complete. They are currently working on plumbing, and electric is getting ready to start and should be done sometime next month, so it's progressing nicely. That's, Chief, do you have anything to add?
Nope.
Okay, then that's all I have.
Alrighty. Planning, Building and Zoning Committee, trustee Gardner.
Commission meeting was held on June 27th. A workshop was held for a special use permit request, and a public hearing on the matter was scheduled for Thursday, July 25th at 7 p.m. Also on July 16th, we held a steering committee meeting. We didn't quite get finished up with everything, and we tentatively have one, is scheduled for July 16th. Tentatively. And the building department monthly report is enclosed for your review.
Alrighty. Public Safety Committee, trustee Terry.
Thank you, Mayor. Police Department monthly report is in there for everybody's review. Chief, do you have anything like that?
No.
And EMA reports also in there, Director Hunt?
Yeah, I'd like to just thank Monique. They came out with 4 cars to help us with traffic control. It was probably the worst we've ever had after the fireworks because of the crowd. They also brought their high definition camera in so we could watch up and down Gold Street and the top of the building, so thanks to them. I think that's it.
Thank you, sir. And the code enforcement monthly report is also included. I'd like to consider a motion approving the ordinance authorizing the execution of an intergovernmental agreement between the County of Will and the Village of Beecher for the provision of animal protection services.
And is ordinance 1410.
While I was reviewing this provision, I see the charges on there, and I guess some of my questions that I have on it is, so, like, if we call them out to come pick up a stray dog, and they don't catch the stray dog, we still get billed for the stray dog.
No, what happens is, in most cases, we catch a stray dog, we bring it to the vet here, and he takes them.
Right.
If they're mean and they're feisty dogs, he won't keep them. We call county and they come and get them, and we gotta pay them. They will do raccoons and other animals where he won't, and we don't, we're not experts at that either. So that's where we only charge them when because they do charge a lot of money, where the vet does not charge them. So we try to take everything to him.
So it's not, so this is just in addition to us?
This is the Will County animal.
But I know, but so if we get a stray dog call, will the officers on the street be answering the stray dog, or will they be contacting Will County?
No. Will County will not take an animal without us calling them, because they gotta charge somebody. So,
I know, I get that, but I guess my question is so if the officers get the call and they see it and don't catch it and they call Will County, then we're being charged. So are the officers, I guess my biggest concern is I don't want the officers to just be passing it to Will County if it's something that we can do.
Well, we don't normally call, if we don't catch them, we don't call them. We usually try to keep catching them ourselves. Rarely do we ever call them for a dog that we haven't caught. So that's a very rare occurrence.
Well, we usually do this agreement every year, don't we?
I think
It
it's
was
2 years.
Every 2 years.
Yeah, this is not a new agreement, it's just that it hadn't been signed. I think they had somebody new, we had new people.
I've never seen it, that's why when I was reading
Yeah.
it,
I think it was like a 3-year thing, and then they're actually approving it at their next meeting.
And it is
It's kinda like
costly.
all, but yeah.
that's why I worry.
We don't have another option when it gets past the vet. We have no other option if Will County don't come out. So they're a last resort, basically.
And this is a 2-year term? Because the term's not included in the,
Yeah, I don't know if it's 2 or if it's 3, because they're approving it at their next meeting, at the Will County meeting, and I believe it's 3 years, but
They've got somebody brand new there and that all of a sudden said, whoa, we haven't had this signed in a while. And then ours was, they weren't contacting us correctly, I think they were trying to contact the police first
They
and
never
you weren't getting.
contacted me, I never
Yeah,
saw it.
he
They
never saw this
contacted
agreement.
security then.
I think, yeah, I think it's something that Bob did, but it's been a few years already, so this whole thing was like an agreement.
I think their fees went up too.
Yeah, I'm sure, like everything else.
yeah, I know, we were instructed that we needed to have it approved at our level so that they could approve it at their level. But
As long as I know
the
they're not-
dates aren't in there, but I believe it's no more than 3 years.
As long as I know that they're not the solely, person responsible for,
The way I understand it is it's just like in extreme circumstances where,
I think we've only used it maybe twice in just in the last year. And those were for, I think, like raccoons.
And we did that too just recently too. Yeah, there might be.
so, I'm sorry, you said it was,
Number
1410?
1410, yeah.
I'd like to make a motion approving the ordinance authorizing the execution of the intergovernmental agreement between the County of Will and the Village of Beecher for the provision of animal protection services.
There's a motion on the floor, is there a second?
second,
There's a motion and a second, discussion?
do we need to include dates on this? Because we're basically, I mean, if we approve this now, we're gonna approve a blanket one that doesn't have a start.
well, I mean, there is a
date.
provision that you can give a 90-day notice to cancel it if you
Well, I
want.
just know, I mean,
We asked her that she never got back to us on the dates, but she did say that we needed to have ours approved on our end before it could be approved on that end, so, I mean,
yeah, I'm fine with it, but I mean, we just usually don't approve agreements like this with IGs
I can
without
have dates in this.
some kind of, well, we're gonna have to have something, aren't we? I mean,
Well, there's
There's
a term in here. You
but what I'm
guys-
saying is it's not filled out. So we're approving this.
So we usually fill those things in when we approve the ordinance.
Okay. So I guess if it's more than 3, can you just let us know?
Any other discussion? Roll call?
Stacy?
Yes.
Terry?
Yes,
Kraus?
Yes.
Gardner?
Yes.
Weissman?
Yes.
and that concludes my report.
All right, Public Works Committee, trustee Stacy.
Thank you, Mayor. I'd like to consider a motion to waive the formal bid process to purchase a 2024 Ford F-150 from Terry's Ford and to purchase necessary accessories for the F-150 in a total amount not to exceed $53,000. The purchase was not included in the 24-25 budget, but with the annual transfer of the capital equipment sinking fund account, there will be funds to cover the purchase and the vehicle replacement schedule will be adjusted.
So I know there's been a whole lot of back and forth about this topic. I really would prefer, and it's up to you guys when you vote or what you vote for, but I would really prefer, I know we've had conversations about the CESPA fund for this and the fact that we're gonna be moving out some purchases in order to accommodate the truck. The CESPA fund that we're running on is at least 8 years old and it might be up to 12 years old. It was Bob and, pardon? John, thank you, John Kaporis. And actually, our public works superintendent at the time, which was prior to Matt, was not even included in this. So they kind of, came up with some ideas for numbers, put it down, and it has never been revised. So we're working on some really old information, the numbers aren't up to date at all, and we're kind of, stumbling along with it. I would really like to see, I sent an email out over the weekend and said I would really like you guys to work out a brand new schedule, now knowing what kind of wear and tear you've got on your trucks, how much miles they have. There's trucks in the schedule to be replaced that don't even need to be replaced because they have low enough mileage where they're gonna last a lot more years. I can't wrap my brain around that until I don't know about the rest of you, unless I see that. I wanna see that schedule and see, okay, here's the date we think we'll have to replace this. Here's when we think we'll have to replace this. I get it that we have money in the fund, and we will have enough money in the fund to be able to get this truck. It will impact future purchases, but I can't see that until, we know exactly where we're headed. I would feel a lot more comfortable with this if we had that CESFA redone, have that whole schedule rewritten. That's just my 2 cents.
I'm definitely okay tabling this for now. We can revisit it later. After just looking over the CESFA fund briefly with the administrator and the superintendent, yeah, I would definitely like to get something that's actual instead of,
Oh, baby!
yeah. And I know, like you said, there's vehicles that might not need to be replaced, there's vehicles that they do need to be replaced. I think the one, Matt, you said was like double what's budgeted. In a
Yeah,
couple
that'd be for
years,
for a
and we
new
need to
big
do
truck.
that. Yeah, so I
Correct.
mean, we're not talking like from 40 to 80,000, we're talking like 120 to like 200, 250. So, yeah,
And,
I'd like
and the
to-
ones that you have, I know there's some that were still on the other CESPA, but they've actually already been replaced and you just don't get rid of them. You haven't surplused them because you might need them in case of, emergency. I would rather see those on a separate page somewhere so it doesn't get confused that, we have to replace this one when we really don't. It's an old truck that we just never got rid of. We prefer to keep it in case of emergency. I'd rather see those on a separate piece of paper where it's not kind of getting confused in with the other trucks that have to be replaced.
Okay.
So, somebody want to make a motion to,
I will make that motion to table it till the next meeting.
okay, there's a motion on the floor, is there a second?
Second.
There's a motion and a second, discussion? Roll call?
Yes.
Weisbach, Gardner,
Yes.
Kraus,
yes.
Terry,
Yes.
Stacy.
Yes.
And
That
that'll do it.
concludes my report.
All right. Economic Development Community Relations Committee, trustee Weisbach.
I have nothing to report for this meeting.
All righty. Any old business to come before the board?
I have some business. So you'd asked us to put the committee together for the sprinkler system. We ended up meeting, was it last Wednesday?
No, I think it was, no, that was when the fest started. I think it was the Wednesday before.
2
that.
Wednesdays, maybe it was
Yeah.
2 Wednesdays, okay, so yeah, so I don't remember the exact date, but it was here, and obviously President Meyer was here, and then trustee Gardner and trustee Stacy, and we had the fire chief, Falchetti was also here, and some of the things that we were talking about were, what the current towns, codes they use around us, and then the different resources that they use, which is the International Code Council, as far as like their safety, fire safety stuff. So, and then the construction codes are all grouped up into that. So, after we started reviewing, I think a lot of these towns around us are going to be in the same boat as us because they haven't updated a lot of theirs. They're still running off of the 2015 guidelines. And so, what we did is the mayor's gonna contact BNF, so this way we can get a list of references and recommendation amendments that would fit for, I think for the 2021.
Well, when last we talked to Safe Built, they strongly advised that we go to the 2018, not the 21. And it has nothing to do with fire codes. The fire codes are a little more straightforward. We amended the 2015 so that we didn't have to enforce residential sprinklers, which was one of the big sticking points. There were a few other things too. He gave us a sample of Moni. They used the 2015 code and they literally had, 6 pages of exclusions from it. I think we only had 1 or 2 items. It's more, my concern is more on the building code side. I think there were a lot of things that start to change each year on the building code side that become a lot more daunting for builders, and I don't know what those are, so, we need some guidance as far as the difference between 15, 18, and then 21. Is there any difference between 18 and 21? That's something we need to.
And the chief, the fire chief gave us like a little brochure of the differences and stuff, so I think I put that in with the minutes. But as far as, going back and forth is the, some of the different things, we'll talk with BNF and see what recommendations they can have, and then we'll make our own amendments, and then we'll present that to the board. Also, the fire chief was going to get with the fire department and make a list of amendments that they would like to try and see, and then we'll collaborate together and see what we can come up with.
Yeah, we're looking at just like a blanket, like over 5,000 was,
That's how it started.
That's us, yeah.
it quickly dissolved.
No, I think we're on the same page with that.
Yeah, so, we also did know, because we have been warned, that the 2015 codes, not just fire code, but the building codes that we use, are pretty soon, I think once they pass 2024, we're not gonna be able to use 2015 anymore. They'll no longer let you go more than 2 code sets back.
Okay.
So we're not gonna have any option but to go to the 2018, and even that, if we go to 2018 and don't make the jump to 21, we're still gonna have to come up with provisions for things to, to be able to amend that.
And I kinda think if we follow the 21 and make the provisions, it's gonna.
Well, the fire district is interested in 2021, I know that affects their ISO rating, and again, it's not the fire codes I'm concerned with, I know we can probably amend those, it's the building code side that I'm a little worried about. But without a lot of information, again, that's hard to determine, if it's not a huge amount, then, we could, but we need to get that information.
So we're,
We're gonna be forced to, at some point, I'm not sure when, but probably sooner rather than later, we're gonna be forced to abandon the 2015 codes.
so we're looking to update the building codes of 2018, and then with that,
Well, that takes you up.
We're not sure,
Yeah, we're
18
not
or
sure yet.
21.
Yeah,
We're trying to get a list of the different,
what the difference is between.
updates and then what amendments we can make to each that would, fit us best.
Because with some of them with building codes, with fire codes, I know we did the amendments to residential sprinkler. I think with some of the building codes, there are some things you can't amend. It's, you adopt that building code, you got that building code. You can't just say, we'll take 2021, but we don't want to make people, put in roofs that are 100 feet thick. You can't get rid of things like that. You can't amend it, so.
it's not a la carte.
It's not a la carte, yeah. Gotta take the whole Happy Meal.
And so that was that meeting. And then the chief and I, before our board meeting today, we went and met with the Lions Club, and they had a committee meeting discussing their burnout. I think it was a very productive meeting. I think they were well organized, although I didn't get to sit in any of their meetings last year. And I don't know if the chief wants to add stuff to it, but we actually went out and started walking, the different grounds within the block that they're gonna plan on having set, and where everything's gonna be set, and how they're going to be structuring their help and the different things that they're putting together. So I think they're having a lot of forward progress, and I think it's, very productive. Chief, you wanna add anything on that?
Last year it was put together very hastily, and there were some major safety issues that we are addressing this year. I think we talked about many of them, like insurance, but the Lions Club, most of the members were cooking, and they weren't available to work the corners for safety reasons, and this year they pledged to have plenty of people to help. And today we went over where to post people, how to do it, staging areas, and assigning people to each one of the different components of the festival, like the Burnout Festival, the motorcycle events, the band and all that, that they're gonna have appropriate people in the right places to avoid any future issues.
And this is a much bigger event this year, so. than
I think it's
last.
gonna draw a lot. They agreed to hire 2 police officers. I mean, I'll be there anyway. I think Bob will be there. If we have 2 police officers and any other EMA, but they mentioned at the meeting, they'd like to get some EMA because they're a lot cheaper than police officers.
And we work for them.
I think they said
But I
you
think
get
we
ice
should
cream.
still have 2 police officers there, because there's gonna be a lot of people there, a lot of bikers, not that the bikers need any more attention, but it's good to have 2 police officers, a big crowd.
That's all I have for new business.
All right.
I have, discussed the fence,
Yes.
over there by the, it was more of a consensus. We ended up getting another price today, but this fence was still a cheaper price. I think the consensus was to go with a 6 foot, and I think we quoted a tan fence.
Correct.
That, good with everybody? It's less than my
And we actually,
allowable.
yeah, and we ended up getting a second quote in that was higher than the original one that we talked about. It's a really good price, and it's under the 5,000, so.
Yep.
And just for clarification, real quick, Charity and I measured it off today, it's approximately 25 feet from the sidewalk, so there won't be any interference with visual coming in or out of that parking lot, so.
Anybody have any objections? Okay. Any other old business? Any new business to come before the board?
So we're not gonna talk about 6 P.M. today?
About the 6 o'clock? Not yet, give me a little time.
Hold it up for one person.
Not something I wanna talk about right now. Someone wanna make a motion to adjourn?
Nobody wants to leave?
Nobody
I'll make
does?
that motion.
Thank you.
I'll second Roger's
I
motion.
thought we'd be here all night. Roll call.
Stacy,
Yes.
Terry,
Yes.
Kraus.
Yes.
Gardner.
Yes.
Like 4.
Weisman.
Yes.